what we have been doing since yesterday with the Africa Development Bank, and in fact, is quite critical if we really want to tackle the whole food security issue in Africa. And the commitment that we have heard and seen since yesterday from the Africa leadership, first of all, it's not just the commitment of resources, which are critical, but for me, the most important thing is the political commitment that we are seeing from our leadership in Africa. That gives me even an increased hope that while the task ahead of us is quite daunting, it gives me much more hope that we will make it. So it's a huge, important commitment that we have here. And globally, also, we do have the commitment of resources that we need to keep pushing for.
All right, but what are the next steps after this level of commitment from African leaders?
No, we are really thinking that we need to share the outcome of these 2 days dialogue, namely through the communique, and to share that with the Secretary General who has called for the Food System Summit, as well as the Deputy Secretary General that is in charge of the management of that in New York. And we certainly will do that. And as you have seen in the communique as well, we are calling for establishing a facility for us to be able to mobilize much more financing, so to scale up a lot of good initiatives that are going on, be it from the R&D side, which is very critical because it's really the research that will allow us to innovate. And without innovation, we will not be able to make it. And innovate through technology or through different way of doing the business, as well as drawing lessons from what we have been doing that are very successful and be able to bring them to scale them up. So the establishment of that facility seems to me a critical part of the way forward.
All right, now let's get into the workings of the International Fund for Agricultural Development. And I also understand that you are committing some funds in terms of projects as well over a couple of years. Can you give us more details on the specifics of this?
Yeah, the IFAD commitment, we are committing ourselves for the period 2022 to 2024, to spend 1.5 billion to help the small-scale producers. You know that 100% of our activity is really in supporting the small-scale farmers, and therefore we will continue doing that in all countries that are in Africa. We do have a few countries where we are not operating just by choice of the country themselves, but our 1.5 would be essentially the minimum. What I believe is important to also recall, while in fact we are present in about 100 countries that we are doing business, every single year we ensure that at least 55% of our business is investment in Africa. I also know that the President Adesina of the African Development Bank has also made a lot of commitment in terms of rural infrastructure and technology through their TAT program. So, and others are going to come up, and we really need to continue doing that, as well as our leadership through the domestic budgets to ensure that much more resources is devoted to agriculture, and not only to the agriculture, but to the transformation of ag to agribusiness, from agriculture as we know it to agribusiness mindset.
Definitely, because it's quite important to get African agriculture to a level where it's seen as it has a very stronger business orientation. But I'd like to speak to the other part, and taking back to what we see play out throughout last year with the COVID-19 pandemic. We saw how that came to ravage across health systems, even food systems, everything being shaken up last year. And it speaks to the need to build back better, if you say, a more resilient agriculture for the continent. I'd like you to speak to efforts being made to modernize agriculture on the continent.
No, listen, one of the lessons, obviously we all quickly understand that if we're not decisive in responding not only to the health dimension of the pandemic, but responding to the economic and social fallout of the pandemic. We will quickly move from a health pandemic to a food crisis, from health crisis to food crisis. And one of the lessons clearly we learned from COVID in the last 15 months or so, when everything came to stand still, is the importance to not only rely much more on domestic production, and to be able to rely on domestic production, we need to increase the productivity, which is key, improving the productivity of agriculture in Africa so it can be much more competitive vis-a-vis the food imports that is a huge bill for us in Africa. The second lesson that I would like to refer to is again the role that technology can and should play in assisting our small farmers to not only to increase their productivity, but also to be able to be much more climate smart agriculture approach. In other words, to be able to increase that productivity while being much more friendly to the environment as the way we do our agriculture. For example, you know very well that agriculture in itself is a 70 to 75% use of all fresh water. But by having technology equipment that help our small-scale producers to better assess the quantity of water that is needed in terms of irrigation, that would hugely help us reduce the amount of water that we draw from fresh water reserves. At the same time, making sure that the optimal level of water goes to the seed or to the plant, so to increase the productivity. The other level that what we learn through the digital agriculture can do in response for the impact from COVID is to help our agriculture sector, be it from a small scale producer to commercial farm, to help transform the basic production, so to add value to the initial, the basic production. And by adding that value, that helps also to ensure, particularly the small scale producers, to have a decent income. So what I mean here is that COVID has reminded us that agriculture should not be seen only just a matter of managing our food security perspective, but also the importance of using agriculture as a means to provide jobs for the youth and a means to contribute to the whole national wealth. And also, the more we use the digital agriculture, the more we use technology, the more we use innovation, the easier it will be to convince our youth to practice agriculture as a decent way of life, a decent way of earning the living. So it's a matter of a total transformation. That's why I keep talking about a rural transformation, and that COVID has again has brought that back to the front line of our thinking.